What's up, Lamentors? Welcome back. It's Lillian. I'm so sorry that I ran away from you all, but I'm back now, and we are back with interactive horror stories. Welcome back. This next one is called that we're gonna do is called Crystal Skull. I'm very intrigued by this. I feel like I can figure out how these are gonna go, but I don't think I know for this one, so we're gonna see. By the way, if at any point in time in this video, if I laugh or like smile or anything and you see any blue, it's because I just ate birthday cake and it's that type of frosting. So if you see that, do not be alarmed. I haven't just done things with a Smurf, I promise. So, okay, here we go. English, obviously. Crystal Skull. Okay. You are a king who is loved by his people. You have a serious problem, though. Your only child, Juliana, has an incurable disease and she is dying. You hear about a crystal skull which can cure illnesses and let people have visions. It is brought to your palace from the continent of America, but your man warned you that the skull might be cursed. Will the crystal skull bring health to the princess or doom? Interesting. Let's find out. Let's just trade her skull for the crystal one. That's what I was thinking. That was literally my first thought. Being a king is hard. Being a good king is even harder. You know this well as the sole ruler of a European kingdom in the age when America is discovered. It has been 25 years since she ascended the throne. Your subjects are content with your rule, your country is in peace, and the people are wealthy. But there is something wrong with your life. Your daughter Juliana is ill. She's only 18 years old, and she has got an illness that nobody could cure yet. Princess is dying, and she is your only child, an heir to the throne. Every doctor you could find tried to cure her. You have tried almost everything. Almost. Intense the way they put almost. Is my camera like totally out of whack there? Okay. You have been informed about a miraculous artifact unearthed in the continent of America. It is a human skull made of crystal. It amazes the scholars because no method is known to carve up such an excellent shape of a skull out of crystal. The skull doesn't belong to the world that you know, but to an ancient civilization that has been lost. But what amazes the scholars is not just the impossible creation. The skull is told to bring miracles to whom touches it with their bare hands. That's cool. That's very cool. Some people tell that they saw visions from the future. Some tell that they saw how the human race has originated. And some tell that the skull can cure their illnesses. Those couldn't be cured with the medication available to your era. Those who couldn't. Naturally, you ordered your best men to bring the miraculous skull to the palace. It's midnight now. You are in Juliana's chamber. She's lying in her bed, holding your hand as you sit by her bed. No candles are lit inside. Full moon enlightens the princess's chamber, shining on her long blonde hair and blue eyes. That's so easy to picture, yet so sad because you just you know the vibe and you know what's going on, so it's just it's kind of heartbreaking. She's too weak, her skin is pale. She has under eye bags showing her illness. You already suffered the loss of your wife 10 years ago. Now you can't stand seeing your only daughter slowly die. Oh. Juliana asked you with a soft voice, "Father, am I going to die?" Well, if we're gonna see what he's gonna do with the skull, I feel like we should say I won't allow that, just to see if he can fix it. But is it right to say eventually, just not to get her hopes up? I don't know, I'm not sure which one to pick. Okay, I'm gonna pick eventually just to maybe see if he can surprise her. She sighs. It is so sad. I am a princess with ambitions, ambitious to become a ruler, and it is certainly not about personal gain. I want to continue what you do. I want to be a fair ruler and make our people happy. She continues, but I think this is life. Death conquers all. Oh, God. I knew something like that was coming. It wasn't too alarming, but the sound just got me. The door of the chamber is knocked on. The servants generally don't disturb the royal family members at night, so it must be something important. A brunette boy, one of your servants, gets inside the chamber with politeness. He looks at you and says, "Your Majesty, the artifact has been brought. You had been waiting for this moment for a long time." I just changed moods there when I was reading that. I went from sad to like excited because I didn't know where he was going with the three dots. I'm so sorry. Go to the artifact, kiss Juliana's forehead, I will come back. Let's kiss her forehead. After you kiss Juliana's forehead and say, "I will come back," she brings your hand to her pale lips and kisses it. Then you leave Juliana alone in her chamber. At the exit of Juliana's chamber, you see Sir William, one of the knights those were appointed with the task of bringing the ancient skull. He is a strong man with black hair and a round beard. He wears gloves and holds a bag. "Your Majesty," he says, and kneels before you. Signal him to stand up. Let's go to my study chamber. Sir William follows you as you walk to your study chamber. The chamber is well lit with silver candelabras. All the furniture are classy. Classy furniture. Ooh, it's expensive. It is the king's study room after all. There's only one chair. It is for you. You sit on it. Sir William stands by you and slowly pulls the artifact from his bag. You push the books on the study desk to open space for the artifact. "Here it is," he says, and gently puts the crystal skull on the study desk. My first thought was just somebody going, "Here it is." The skull is truly a masterpiece, if it is crafted by humans. All the details of a human skull are imprinted with care in raw crystal. Lights coming from the candles are refracted inside the crystal, getting various colors of a rainbow. Oh, I can picture that. That's really pretty. It's magnificent, but you sense something sinister, something that doesn't belong to our world. Touch the skull. Did you knights touch the skull? Touch the skull. I'm gonna touch it. As you are about to touch the skull, Sir William holds your hand and prevents you from touching the skull. "Your Majesty, I think I need to tell you something about the skull before you touch it. The day we were about to leave, a native man came to us. He looked like the chief of his tribe. He knew little of our language, but he shouted some words that we could understand. Cursed, no touch. So we haven't touched the skull with our bare hands again. I know that our princess needs to find a cure. I also know that we received reliable information about the magical powers of the skull when it comes to incurable diseases. But Your Majesty, I have got a very bad feeling about this skull. I believe that the wise decision is to throw the skull to the sea. I can't let Juliana die. She will touch the skull. I trust your insight. Let's do it." See, I kind of feel like this is the last one we did, where the dad dug up his son because he was just desperate to save him to get him back. Like when you were in that depressed state and you would do anything to get your child back. I can't let Juliana die. She will touch the skull. I feel like if I was him, like this, like I said, same thing as the last one that we did. I feel like this is the same situation. I would probably do anything I could. The knight sighs, "As you wish, Your Majesty, but if you are going to bring the skull to her, I wish you would wear gloves. Touch it with bare hands and wear gloves." Okay. Let's listen to him and wear gloves. You look for gloves around the study chamber. Sir William pulls his own gloves off. "I think you wish Juliana to touch the skull as soon as possible. Let's not wait for servants to find your gloves," he says and gives you them. You wear the gloves and hold the crystal skull with your covered hands. You thank Sir William for his services and let him go. You carry the skull to Juliana's chamber. You enter her chamber and see that she hasn't slept yet. She rises up and sits on her bed. She looks at the skull in awe. "It looks marvelous and scary," she says. "It looks marvelous and scary." You approach Juliana and let her touch the skull. I can just imagine going from marvelous to scary. She's feeling all the different emotions looking at it. As Juliana touches the skull, she closes her eyes and doesn't react to anything in the external world. You understand that she is having a vision. After 10 seconds, she opens her eyes with a gasp. "I saw things. I don't know how to describe them. They were pitch black creatures, so ugly. Their eyes, they were red as flames and they all stared at me." She starts to cry. "Please keep this thing away from me, please. And I want to be alone." So you decide to keep the skull in your study room and let your daughter sleep. After After this tiring day, you go to your chamber. There are no guards at the door, you just trust everybody in the place. You are a loved king. The furniture are luxurious in this chamber too. You take a glance at your reflection in the mirror. Examine yourself for sleep. No, let's just sleep. Sleep it off. It all goes away if you sleep it off. Always remember that. You wear your nightgown and get in your bed. It is a bed for 2 people, but you haven't slept with anyone since your wife passed away. You have a secret that you keep from everyone. Sometimes you hug the second pillow in your bed as if it was someone you love. You do this since your childhood. Nobody needs to know it. It doesn't take long for you to fall asleep. It can be. That's not something you should be afraid to admit. I think a lot of people do that. Makes you feel less lonely if you hug pillows or stuffed animals, you know. That's what I do. Never be ashamed to admit that. If that's a thing you do, then that's okay. Father, you wake up to Juliana's voice. She gently holds your shoulder. You look at her. She has a happy smile on her face. Her skin is not pale, but saturated with life. She no longer has bags under her eyes. I feel wonderful. She takes a few steps back and starts dancing. You laugh with happiness, stand up, and hug her. Juliana walks in the corridors of the palace, dancing and laughing. You and the people of the palace are very happy to see her this way. She used to be like a ghost before. You plan a feast and invite all the lords of the kingdom. A few days later, every lord arrives to the capital city to celebrate the health of the princess. At the feast, Juliana is the center of everybody's attention. She talks with everyone joyfully, makes jokes, makes people laugh. When the feast is over and it's midnight, everybody goes to the chambers reserved for them. You accompany Juliana to her chamber. You put a kiss on her forehead before letting her sleep. Imagine putting a kiss. I just pictured, like, literally putting the kiss, taking it, and just going, whack! Then you go to your own chamber and fall asleep in peace. Oh my gosh, could you not get any quieter? Jeez, that scared me again. You wake up to the sound of the knocking on your chamber's door. It's still night. You wonder who dared to wake you up at this hour. I don't know. Should we ignore it or open it? Let's open it. It's the same brunette boy who had informed you about the arrival of the skull. Your Majesty, I am deeply sorry for disturbing you at this hour, but there is something wrong. There are laughing sounds coming from the princess's chamber. It's her voice, but it doesn't sound normal. I'm sure it's nothing important. Dang, he was so desperate to get her back, and then he's like, she's fine. Check. You walk to Juliana's chamber. Like the servant said, hysterical laughs come from inside. You decide to enter. You see Juliana at the balcony of her chamber facing back you. She laughs under the pale moon. You approach her and put your hand on her shoulder. She turns back to you. Her face is normal, smiling. Just when you are going to ask if she is okay, she responds, I know it looks funny, Father, but I am fine. Please leave me alone, she says. She stops laughing, gets in her bed with a smile on her face. You decide to leave her alone. You go back to your chamber. You can't sleep. You feel something is wrong. So wrong. What if, I have an idea, what if the crystal, or what if the skull switched, like, her bodies? What if what she saw, like, reversed her, and it gave everybody around her, like, an evil but happy version of her, so then, like, the sick and, like, weak version of her is inside the skull or something, and then they just, like, switched it? The door of your chamber opens. There is only one person who is allowed to enter without knocking on the king's door, so you understand that it's Juliana who's entered. Like you guessed, you see your daughter's silhouette. She closes the door and approaches you with a smile on her face. Juliana? She leans down to you, gently pulls the other pillow that you don't use. Juliana is dead, she says, pushing the pillow on your face. You struggle, but whoever or whatever is trying to kill you is too strong. The king is dead. Long live the king, she shouts. Why is your own daughter committing patricide, regicide, and referring herself as king rather than queen? That doesn't make sense at all. This is the end of your reign and life. The end. Why did the letters turn red? Regicide, the king is dead. Long live the king. Oh my goodness, I knew it. You know, I probably knew something was going to go wrong, but I took the risk anyway, because why not? That was intense. The letters turned red, and I actually got scared. I was like, oh my god, there's going to be a jump scare. or something. Creepy. Ooh, there's another one. After Evil Beneath the Ground, there's another one. Wait a minute, do these go together? Wow, no. I was gonna say, is Evil Beneath the Ground the next one to After Funeral, maybe? There's Crystal Skull too. Well, that's cool. Oh, we'll have to see about that one for the next video, the next one. Let me know. Oh, I waste my words, I'm sorry. Let me know if you guys want to see the next part of Crystal Skull. I bet that's cool. I wonder how that one's gonna go. Is she gonna end up in his place? And she said king instead of queen. So was it like a male? Was it like a demon or something? Interesting. I like that one. Creepy how it ended. I was trying to picture it the whole time. Man, I can't think though, but the fact that she said king instead of queen. That's interesting. Okay, well, let me know if you guys like this. Comment below. Let me know if there's any other games, horror short films you want me to play, want me to see. Any other horror games you want me to see, any short films you want me to see. And you know what I mean. I'm glitching out. Anyway. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you all very much, and I will see you next time. Bye!